Hello, my friends. It's Sheree. How you doing today? I hope you're doing well. I am here to do a little episode of Use It or Lose It, like I've been doing. I'm going to try to do these about once a week. So it's not a collab or anything. It's just, I want to try to use my things that I haven't been using. So that's what I'm kind of trying to focus on during this type of episode. So I've had this in my head for months now, and so I finally decided to do it today. So I have about 6 months or so ago, I took these. They're little game pieces. Those are in the bag, but let me show you some out of the bag. Let me show you the two different colors. They're these little wood circles. They're about this thick, if you can see, and there's two different colors. This was from a game we had that I always thought maybe we would play it, but my kids nobody ever wants to play it. Nobody ever wanted to play it. So I decided to use the pieces because I have some wooden nickels that I have decorated, and they kind of reminded me of the wooden nickels. They're about the same size. They also are about the same size, maybe a little bit bigger, but almost the same size as a bottle cap. Like not a, I mean a milk cap. The little thin cardboard type milk caps, but they're thicker, and of course these are wooden. So my idea that I have been, letting circulate in my head for probably 6 months now was to make some buttons out of these. So what I did with the wood nickels I did probably a year or two ago. So on the wood nickels, I covered them with some tissue paper on one side and the side that didn't have any decoration. And I wanted to leave the other side as it was so you could see that it was a wooden nickel. And I think I put a coating over the top, of course, a Mod Podge to, like underneath and maybe on top to glue the tissue paper on. They came out really cute. I think I still even have some that I could dig out. But so I wanted to do something similar with these, but I wanted to use scrapbook paper. So I've experimented with these three here. And so I put some scrapbook paper, just got a piece out of my scraps, and then I made two holes like a button with my crocodile, and then I put some embroidery floss through like a button. So this is the first one I did here, and I tried to get the holes as close as I could, but my crocodile, as I took it off because I put it up so far, it scraped. It didn't take it off or anything. It just made a little like scrape on the paper, which I then decided, well, maybe I can cover that up. I mean, it didn't really bother me, but I just wanted to see what it would look like if I distressed it. So this has vintage photo on the top and the sides. So I think it's cute. And then the second one I put the holes farther out, and I did have a problem with this one because it took some of the paper off, because I think I did it right after I glued. So then I decided, well, I think I need to let the glue dry. you know how impatient we are, right? We just want to see how it comes out. So then I let the glue dry, but I also made the holes even farther out, one's here and one's here. And then I put the embroidery floss through and tied a bow. Here's what it looks like on the bottom. So you can see how far apart the holes are. So I think they're really cute, and I like them. I think I like this one the best, the third one with the little bow, because the holes are so far apart. Not so far apart, but they're, not really close together. I decided to tie a bow, and I think it's really cute. So here are some that I've done, and we will put some holes in these in a minute, but I want to show you how I got started. So here's a different piece. This is I use this piece of scrapbook paper for these. And so I mean, you can use any paper you want. You could use tissue paper, scrapbook paper, just anything, any paper. And you could do this with other, if you don't have these, you could cut out a piece of cardboard and do this, but these are already a circle. So let me show you what I did. So I'm going to try this one now. Here's the back side, And so how I started out was I just took, let's do like 4 on here. So what I did was I have this is an old, I mean these things last forever, but it's a little sandpaper spongy thing that I just mostly have used when I'm painting in my house. And I've patched a hole and then I put the drywall compound in the hole, let it smooth as possible, maybe with my putty knife, but then you have to go back and sand it. This is what I use this for. But now I have it in my craft room. So let's see, one of these sides is kind of the roughest. So I was using that just to go over the side. I'm going to glue down a little bit because these are a little slick on, they're not really super shiny or anything, but they're a little slick. So I just did that and wiped it off with my hand. That one's ready to go. So let me not do that over my paper so I don't have so real simple there. I just don't want to do it over my paper. Let me do it over here. Maybe you can see over here better. Just like that. Just a little rub. Not anything super serious because it's not that slick, like I said, but just a little rough. And you might not even have to do that. I'm just doing that for precaution's sake. But you could try it without sanding if you want. I actually did, and it worked both ways, with and without sanding. I didn't have any problem. So I'm using my my Fabri-Tac. If you wanted to use some wood glue, you could try that. I don't have wood glue or super glue or any other kind of glue except for art glitter glue here in my craft room and glue sticks. So I'm just using what I have, and I'm putting them down like this on the paper, the back side of the paper, so that the front side is going to show on my little circles here, and kind of getting this right up to the edge so that it's nice and glued down without trying not to overdo it though at the same time. See, I have a little bit of space in between so I can cut these out. I found this to be the easiest way. I mean, this is the first way I tried it, and it did work really easy in cutting them out this way. So just gluing those down. So let me put my lid on here. And then what I did was turn these over. Just make sure they're stuck down before I turn it over. I don't want them to fall off. Okay, but I did turn them over. This one has the paper is a little warped there, so it doesn't want to stick down. So I'm going to go over here, and I don't want these to move, so I just want to make sure the glue is all over, and these are stuck down good, so I'm just pressing down on this side now all around the little circles. This one too is like I said, is a little warped, so we'll see. Pressing down real good on this one. I might have to put a little binder clip on this one or something. We'll see. Okay. I want to turn it over and see how it's doing. Okay. Yeah, they're all stuck down now. They're all stuck down. These are really flat. I'm trying to see if this one's flat here, that on the warped part of I'm just calling it warped because see, it's little. I had dyed this paper too. You see it's green on this side, it was white. I had spritzed this, so that makes it a little, wobbly when you wet it and then you dry it. But I wasn't going to go iron it or anything, so it's fine. Okay, that looks like it's nice and stuck, so I'm going to let that sit for a bit before I cut them out, but I'll show you how I cut them out. But after I cut them out, I just have been letting these have been sitting here while we're talking. Before the video, I let them set for a few minutes. So these have been sitting here for at least 5 or 6, 7 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes. So I think they're nice and dry. So then I just took my Crop-A-Dile. If you don't have a Crop-A-Dile, maybe you could use a little drill or something. If you have a Dremel or, even a regular drill with a small drill bit. I do have a Dremel, but since this is working, I'm not going to get my Dremel out. So, but I did think about it. So, like I said, I don't want to. I let my paper dry on here nicely, and nice and solid, so it wouldn't, be like wet where this would have more of a chance to pull it off or make a scrape. So now that it's nice and dry, you know, you can feel it's not cold, it doesn't feel wet or anything. So I'm going to put this up as far as I think I'm safe without, so I don't scrape the paper. And I got it pretty far there, and this goes right through these wooden discs, believe it or not. The first time I tried this, I really couldn't believe it worked on my wooden nickels. So, and I didn't know if it would work on these because it seemed like they're a little harder wood than the wooden nickels. Okay, so carefully remove it, and it didn't make a scrape. I'm just pushing down the paper around the hole, make sure the paper's not coming up. So there's the first hole. You can use the bigger one, the bigger hole if you want, if you have a crocodile, but I like the smaller holes. Okay, my little wood piece is in there, so let me get that out. Okay, yep, there we go. That's a little piece from the hole we punched out. Now we're going to do the other one. And I'm not measuring or anything, I'm just eyeballing it. So I'm going to try to put it in about the same distance from the other side. Punch another hole right here, directly across from the other one, right there. Okay, make sure it's all the way through. Pull it back. That one's, I did that one even farther out, but it's fine. And my little pokey tool, I can make sure my holes are nice and rounded. So, you know, it might not be perfect, but it's fine. So then this might not be necessary, but I did take my little sanding block here and go around the edges too. You can do this before or after you punch the holes, whenever. I just wanted to make sure there was no rough edges there as far as the paper sticking out. I mean, it's not sticking out, but I just wanted to make sure it's nice and smooth around there. So kind of just went around like that. Make sure it's nice and smooth. You can feel it too if you want to. If you want to go to that, you know, get technical, you can just feel it and make sure there's nothing sticking out there as far as the paper, a jagged piece of paper or something. Like I could feel something right there. Over that a little bit. I think it's fine. Okay, I mean, you can't even, like what I was feeling, you couldn't even see anything that was jagged or anything. I could just feel it. Okay, and then if you want to do any kind of distressing or anything, I'm not going to on this one. So all I did after that was take any color. I try to use yarn, and you could use yarn if you wanted a thicker, you know, like string on here, but the yarn didn't go through there easily, so I didn't want to mess with that. So I'm just using an embroidery floss. I'm just doing it like this. You do have to get your top piece, your end there nice and straight. And I just go through. Of course on video, it's not as easy as it was before. It always happens, right? I'm just trying to make sure this is nice and tight. I might have to cut my end off. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so I put it through the top because I want to tie it up on the, you know, on the top. So top to bottom, then go back through and leave plenty of string here. Not that much, but depending on how big if you want to tie it, you know, how many knots you want to tie, if you want to tie a bow. And then just do your thing. I'm going to leave plenty this time because this time I didn't really leave enough for my bow. I mean, it's enough, but not really. It's barely enough. So I want to have plenty for my bow here because I think I like the bow the best, like I said. So then here I just tied a double knot. And you'll see in the end, even though and you can measure and make your holes exactly perfect if you want. I wasn't concerned with making it exactly perfect. So there's one. Did I tie 2 knots? Yeah, I guess I did. Now I can tie my bow. By the time you tie your bow, you don't really see if your holes are a little off. I mean, my holes aren't that off, but if they're not perfect. So So if your holes are not perfect, by the time you tie your bow, you can't really see that. So that was the first time I tied a bow. I just tied a bow like you just saw me tie a bow. Now I'm thinking, will this bow stay in? It might, but what if I tie a double bow here? So I'm just going to try it right now. Tie another, like you're tying a knot, take your 2 loops, and if I can get it going here. You don't have a lot of string to work with, so it's a little fiddly, but I want to try it. Okay, now my bow, if this works, will be more secure, like a knot, has a knot there. And then I can tie to see I left this on here so I'd have plenty of string, and I do. And now I can cut this off. Now keep in mind that your ends are going to be a little, might come unwound a little bit if you use yarn or embroidery floss. See how it's coming apart there? I don't mind that, but say if you wanted that not to happen, leave enough string so you can tie a little knot in the end, and that would actually be cute too. And my bow isn't exactly even, so let me even that up a little bit. But I can see these glued down in a journal on a pocket, or maybe even on the front of a journal in some kind of, if you're decorating, or maybe even on the spine. Wouldn't that be cute? Line them up on the spine. That would be cute, these big buttons. I don't know where else, but I'm sure there's other places. A tag topper maybe. This one won't undo so I can see how big it is. But let's see, so I'm going to center my knot there. And I think I should just probably leave it alone. I'm just going to pull on this. Well, I can't pull on it because I did double knot. So if you're going to even up your little bows, just do it before you tie that second knot. This was the first time I did that, so. But anyway, I'm going to stop messing with it because, I'm kind of fussy about my bow, so I could mess with that all day. But anyway, there we go, another one. And so, let's see, we have time to make a couple more. Let me show you how I cut these out. So, you saw that part of it. So for this, all I did was, we need to cut these out so I can show you what I did here. I just took my scissors. I need to clean these off. But just took my scissors and cut for those ones you just saw that we were just working on. This is exactly what I did. I cut it. They've been drying all that time, so they're probably, fabric tack dries pretty quick, or really quick, so they're probably pretty dry at this point. So it's pretty easy, right? And then just cut around like this. So you're not having to, see, I was thinking in my head that I might be able to use my punch, my circle punch, but then when I came right down to it, I was like, no, I don't have a circle punch this size. I have a circle punch that's 2 inches, one that's 1 inch, and one that's, there's the scrap, one that's like a 1/2 inch. So this is like 1.5 inches, probably, something like that. Let's see. This is just under 1.5 inches, one notch below there. So I don't have a circle punch that size. So when I sat down to do this, I was like, well, how am I going to do this? So I thought, well, let me just do it like this. Glue them down, cut around, and that way, you're not trying to cut the circle and then match it up or anything like that. That's not that necessary. That's way too much work. Just glue your circle down and then cut it out like that. So, and you see how easy it is. And at this point, what I would do is go ahead and do your little sanding around, because I can see a little bit of something sticking out here, a little bit of paper sticking out. I'm trying to go a little bit fast because I'm on video, but if you want to take your time, go a little bit slower, you can get it pretty perfect without, and just turn your circle, let your scissors stay in place, turn your circle like this. That's the easiest way to cut just about anything paper related. And there we go, I see another little stuff sticking out there. So let's see how we do with our sanding here real quick. And then these will be all ready. You could use them just like this and put a little decoration on top, a little butterfly or some flower, something. But I really like, that's why I used a pattern on here. I just wanted to see the pattern. Look how cute that is. And it's just randomly placed on the scrapbook paper and cut out. So here's my sanding. Let's see. I think this is the roughest side here. And just go around. It doesn't take much to knock off whatever little bit of roughness there is from the paper. And that one's done just like that. It's that easy and quick. So this could be also a mobile craft. Do one step at a time if you want. If you want to do it while you're watching TV, take your paper, your glue, and your little circles into where you're watching TV with the hubster or whoever and glue some circles down, and then get your scissors and cut them all out, and your sanding block if you want to sand around the edges. And just do one step at a time. You don't have to take everything in there all at one time. You know what I mean? That way you don't have a big mess to clean up the next morning or that night. Kind of getting my sanding dust here on my table. Need to wipe that down when I get done, but I think you got the idea here. Very easy to get these ready to make into buttons and punch the holes. So I hope that was, I hope I explained that properly, but if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Let me know how you might like my little circles and buttons here. I've been waiting, like I said, waiting to do that for a long time, and there we go, a pile of buttons to be and buttons already made. So I think they're super cute, and I think they're going to be fun to use, and now they're not going to waste. I didn't, give them to Goodwill, and I have all of this whole bag to use here, so I have a lot to use, and I will be working on that. That will be a TV craft, I'm sure, just like I said. So thanks for watching today. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a great day.